avoid taking salary advance. How many here watching this video and you are so addicted with taking salary advance? I once worked somewhere and we had a guy who used to love to take salary advance at all the time. You know, every time we hit the 15th day of the month, the guy was in the administration asking for the salary advance. Little did you know that behavior of you taking the salary advance at all the time, you're really shooting your foot. Financially, avoid taking the salary advance. And I'm going to tell you two reasons. But before I do that, this is Good Joseph. At all the time, make sure that you hit that like button, make sure that you subscribe. And I know you wonder, why am I always telling you this? So that you'll be notified whenever I upload a new good video. All right? Avoid salary advance. That is the video of today. Well, be it either you are taking it from a bank or you are taking it, there are people who have been employed by the private sector. You can just go to your boss and our manager or director or whoever and ask for your salary advance. And by the way, how many of you realize that bosses are so good when they give you the salary advance? They just love it. I'm going to teach you one thing about the psychology of money. Now, let's stick with first the reason number one. If you get used to taking the salary advance, the first problem and the biggest problem, you're opening door for poverty. You're opening doors for poverty. But before I even continue, because this can sound controversial, you can be taking a salary advance to advance your investment. I repeat, you can be taking, or you might be taking a salary advance to advance your investment project. There is nothing wrong with that. But there are some people who take salary advance to finance their lifestyle or to actually buy consumables. What are consumables? They are things that do not improve your life. They are things that do not even make you anything. Like taking a salary advance to buy, say, wheat flour, or buying a carpet, or say buying something or going for a road trip, or to fuel your car. That is a consumable because that money is just going into the downdrain. It is going to sustain you, not to develop you. So when we say that when taking a salary advance, you're opening the doors to poverty, this is how it works. What happens? Let's say you are earning 45,000 in a month. If you earn 45,000 in a month, before even we go there, let me tell you one thing. You earn 45,000 in a month. On the day 15th, let's say for the first month, let's say you are employed today. The first month you get the entire 45K. Assuming that it was 50, then all the deduction, and what have you. Now you get the entire 45K. Now you do not know how to plan your salary. Guess what happens? Let's say you are paid at date 1. When you are paid on the first day of the month, probably you are all okay from day 1, from one day all the way, say, to day 10. Everything was good. You had paid your rent, you did your shopping, your groceries, and what have you. And then you had set aside some cash for your transport because probably you don't have a car. And up to the day 10, you are good. From day 11, the struggle starts. From the 11th, now all the way to day 20, this is where a lot of people take the salary advance, especially on day 15th, okay? We even have some company policies that you can't take a salary advance before you hit the 10th day. Now, when you are on your 15th day or 16th day, you contemplate about getting the salary advance. So you either shoot a call to your bank, or maybe you go to your boss, or whichever the arrangement is, or you even borrow your friends, because that's another way of taking a salary advance. Now you go borrow, say, 10K. And they will be comfortable giving you that money if they're your boss. I mean, after all, by the end of the month, or let's say at the end of the 20 days from today, I owe you 45,000. So they give you the 15,000 that you're looking for. Now the 15,000 you're looking for, you go now fund your lifestyle. Maybe you did budget your money well here. Maybe you're looking for the transport. Maybe you're looking for some of the things to do with eating and what have you. Guess what happens now? Remember when you were paid 45,000, it wasn't enough according to your budget, and you actually went broke at the day 11th. Now here you are, you had already eaten 15,000. Now when it comes to the other month, on the first day, guess what much you'll be having? 30K. You are now getting yourself into a big sinkhole. What happens now? You are on the first month of the next month, you have a 30,000. Why that? Because you've already eaten the 15K. Guess what happened now? You are opening a door that will be very, very hard for you to close. You get 30,000, you try to squeeze it, You try to squeeze it, and you know why? The advance that you got of 15,000, you actually used it in anyhow because you knew, after 20 days I'll be getting a salary. But you didn't tell yourself psychologically that I won't be getting 45, I will be getting 30,000. And this is the problem where it comes from. This gentleman who used to take this salary advance, then when we get paid, say, let's take an example of these are two people. When you get paid 45,000, then they are getting paid 30,000. They feel like as if they have been denied some. You get what I'm saying? Now, you have now 30,000 to plan in that particular month. It becomes even harder for you even to do that. If you ran to be broke at the 11th day of the month, of the new month, probably you won't even hit this day. Probably by 8th day of the next month, you are broke. From the 8th day all the way to 15th day, when you qualify for another advance, you are struggling a lot. Are we together? Either you're borrowing your friends, you're doing it, and then you're borrowing your friends the name of, hey, lend me some cash. By the time when I take the advance, I'm gonna pay you back. Now, guess what happens? Your friends lends you, say, 3,000. Now, when it comes to day 15 or the day 16, you get another salary advance from your bank and whoever. Nowadays, the banks are offering that. So they get you the shape of all that. Get the salary advance of 15,000. You take 3,000 out of 15,000, you give it to your friends who made you borrowed. Guess what happens now? You are in a situation whereby the salary advance that you are taking to do something, it won't be enough because it's 13,000. And guess what? Another month will come with another 30,000. Still the same problem. Guess what happens now? You're actually getting deeper into that particular problem. And this is what I tell people. It's like you realize that you're in a ditch, but instead of you stop digging, guess what you're doing? You're actually digging even more. What you're supposed to do, stop digging. Figure out how to get yourself out of that. Is it because you are being, or because you have a lot of expenses that honestly you could shake them off and at least salvage some of your cash? Check out. I know you're about to blame the salary. Most of you blame the salary. Most of you say, hey, it's because I'm being paid less money. I've never heard of somebody say, hey, I think it's my behavior and my character. I think it's my lifestyle that is too expensive, that it can't be financed by this money. Please, can you try the best as you can to get rid of what we call consumerism? Consumerism is a very dangerous thing when it comes to finances because it gobbles down your money and you do not even channel anything towards an investment. Please try to do that. That is the problem number one. That is when you're opening doors to poverty. Problem number two, you are affecting the psychological or social relationship with your manager. The moment you borrow or the moment you ask for more salary advance, you are actually tying down yourself to living or working and being there and being desperate in that company. Can you imagine this? I'm going to give you a very simple example. Say you take a salary advance, meaning that you will have less money in the next month. And you have to pay that what you had borrowed, because an advance is of course a borrowed cash. So you have to be in that particular job regardless, because people's money ought to be paid, isn't it? And now that is where now you're tying down to that particular place. You become more desperate and more desperate. And those people who take more salary advance, they are the people who are so, there are these, there's nothing bad being loyal to your boss or something like that. But you find there are people who they have an exceptional loyalty that is not so formal. Like you find you're the one who can be sent anywhere. You are the one who can be, hey, can you come on Saturday? By the way, we'll be having something. Because you take those salary advance. You're like, okay, it's okay. Because you are like, if I say no, then probably if I ask for my salary advance, then I won't be given. So you become more manipulatable, if that term exists. So it is good when you respect yourself. And the moment your boss realizes that they pay you, they have never seen you asking for the salary advance, they see you are very organized, you become even harder or hard to be manipulated. By you taking that salary advance, it makes you, that manipulatable. Even if you won't take it from your boss, you are taking it from your bank. In one way or the other, the Bible says that the borrower is always a slave to the lender. You will always be a slave. In one way or the other, you'll find yourself becoming tied down in that particular job. You can't even move, you can't even risk it. It's like you're walking on eggshells. Have you ever seen somebody walking on the eggshell? You're so keen because, they are so fragile and they can break at any given moment. So taking salary advance in one way or the other, it affects not only your finances, but it affects your social life, it affects your psychological life in terms of the money and the relationship with your bosses. If there's something I told you, Your bosses or your colleagues or acquaintances aren't your friends. They are people you should assume very formal relationship with them. So you should be very, very, very careful. So is a salary advance bad? It depends on what you do with it. If you're taking the salary advance maybe to advance a project that you are having, probably say you're building some rentals or something like that, so be it. Again, I don't think it's wise to take a salary advance to finish your own home. That means you're financially not okay. But if you're taking that salary advance to, advance your project somewhere so that that project can make you some cash, so be it. That's a wise way to invest your money. But if you're taking it to buy, I don't know, you saw a very nice carpet, I don't know, you saw some very good, nice, non-sticky pans that you need to buy, you guys, you are going for a road trip with your guys and you didn't have the money, say, to fuel your car or something like that, then that is shooting your foot and you should avoid it as a plague. Because otherwise, if you continue with that character and a behavior, I can assure you, not because that I'm perfect, not because that I have a life manual, not because that I know everything, no, but because I can relate with one or two or three examples of people who ever entered or went through that route, and I saw the result. So stay away from the salary advance if it is possible, by all means. And by the way, do this. Learn to plan that what you get. If you're paid at the end of the month, learn to plan that. If you're paid at the end of the day or the week or whichever, learn to plan that month. I always love to ask myself, and this has been my philosophy since then. If you pay me Y amount of money and I made that Y amount of money in X number of days, then that Y amount of money should be spread across those X number of days. It doesn't make any sense. You earning 30,000 in 30 days, then using 30,000 in 3 days. It doesn't, there's something wrong. As hard as it is to make it, so should it be hard as it is to use it. I know the graph of getting the money is usually like this, but using it is... So be very careful, keen and cautious. Otherwise, if you don't do all these calculations, you are in for a bumpy ride. This is Good Joseph. In case you need my services in one way or the other, that's my number. Pick it up, shoot me a call, let's talk business on my WhatsApp. See you there.